Hello, I'm Mesopotamian Mastermind, and this is the first installment of my series about Sumerian city-states. If you have any requests for the next city-state, please leave them in the comments below. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to ancient Mesopotamia, a land often referred to as a cradle of civilization. In the southern region of this land, surrounded by vast marshes and rivers, lies the forgotten ruins of a once great city, Eridu. Today we'll be exploring the fascinating history of Eridu, widely regarded as one of the oldest cities in the world. From its mythological origins to its role in early urban development, let's journey back over 7,000 years to the dawn of civilization. Eridu, once known as the first city, was one of the most important cities in ancient Sumeria. Located in modern-day Iraq dating back to around 5,400 BCE, it was the hub of culture, trade, and religion. But Eridu wasn't just any city. According to Sumerian mythology, it was the very place where the gods themselves descended to earth and established human civilization. In the Sumerian king list, a record that documents the kingship of ancient cities, Eridu is said to be the first city to receive kingship after the Great Flood, which was the pre-Bible Noah's Ark story. As one of the earliest known urban settlements, Eridu marks the beginning of efforts to organize into complex societies. Eridu wasn't just important because of its physical presence, it was also a key city in the mythology of the Sumerians. At the center of this mythology was the god Enki, also known as Ea by the Akkadians, who was a god of water, wisdom, creation, and mischief. He's also my personal favorite god. According to the Sumerian creation myth, Eridu was the first city to be created after the gods descended from the heavens. Enki, the patron deity of the city, was believed to have brought the knowledge of agriculture and civilization to humanity. The people of Eridu believe that their city was the very first place where gods and humans interacted. In the Sumerian epic Enki and the World Order, which I may touch on in a later video, Enki gives the gift of irrigation and prosperity to humanity, symbolizing the importance of water on this ancient city. The most important structure in Eridu, like most Sumerian cities, was the ziggurat, a massive step-like temple built in honor of the patron deity of that city, in this case being Enki. The Temple of Enki was the spiritual heart of the city, where priests performed rituals and offered sacrifices to ensure the god's favor. The ziggurat stood as a physical and symbolic connection between earth and the heavens. Eridu was recovered by archaeologists in the mid-19th century, and since then it has provided a key insight into the early days of human civilization. The British archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley, who also excavated the nearby city of Ur, played a crucial role in uncovering the remains of this ancient city. Archaeologists found evidence of continuous habitation from 5,400 BCE to around 600 BCE, revealing a city that had evolved over a millennia. Excavations revealed multiple layers of settlement, including temples, houses, and canals, that showed the ingenuity of early urban planners. The most important discoveries included pottery, tools, and religious objects that tell us a lot about the daily life and religious practices of the people of Eridu. But perhaps the most impressive find was the Temple of Enki itself, buried under layers of time. At its peak, Eridu was a bustling city with a complex layout. The city's main feature was its central ziggurat dedicated to Enki, surrounded by residential neighborhoods, farmlands, and canals. The canals were essential to the city's survival, allowing the inhabitants to manage the unpredictable waters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Most of Eridu's people were farmers, fishing and growing barley, wheat, and dates along the fertile plains. Life revolved around the rhythm of the river, with seasonal flooding replenishing the land. Their irrigation systems were advanced, helping them transform the marshes into fertile farmland. Daily life in Eridu was modest but organized. People lived in mud brick houses, worked in agriculture, and traded with nearby cities. Socially, the city was divided into classes, with priests holding most of the power as mediators between gods and people. The rulers, closely tied to the religious elite, governed in cooperation with the temple authorities. Religion played a crucial part in Eridu society, and indeed most of the Sumerian city-states. The Temple of Enki was a focal point of the city's religious life. Here, priests performed daily rituals, offered sacrifices of food and drink and incense to the gods. These rituals were meant to ensure the gods' protection over the city and fertility of its land. The ziggurat, a towering structure of mud brick, was not only a temple but a symbolic mountain connecting the earth and heaven. As the city's priestly class performed sacred duties, they also maintained social order, as the religious and political powers were deeply intertwined in Eridu and also in most Sumerian city-states. Eridu also appears in the Sumerian king list, a document that records the reigns of kings in the early cities of Mesopotamia. According to the list, the very first king ruled after the Great Flood came from Eridu. His name was Alum, and he is said to have reigned for an astounding 28,000 years. Although the exact nature of such time periods is likely symbolic rather than literal, Alum's reign represents the beginning of kingship in Sumer, bestowed upon the people by the gods themselves. Following Alum was another legendary figure, Alagar, who, like his predecessor, was believed to rule for an impossibly long period of time. These kings are mostly mythological figures, but their mention in the king list emphasizes Eridu's central role as the cradle of kingship and civilization in the ancient world. Like many ancient cities, Eridu's fortunes eventually faded. Over time, environmental change played a significant role in the city's decline. Shifting river patterns and increased sterilization of the soil made it harder to farm the land. The once thriving canals became clogged with silt, and the fertile marshlands that sustained Eridu slowly turned barren. By around 600 BCE, the city was largely abandoned, overshadowed by newer city-states. However, the legacy of Eridu lived on in the Sumerian culture. Its mythological significance remained, and its influence can be seen in the religious and urban practices of later Mesopotamian cities and cultures. Today, the remains of Eridu lie in the arid plains of southern Iraq, a faint echo of its former grandeur, designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Eridu is a crucial link in understanding the origins of human civilization. Ongoing archaeological excavations continue to reveal more about the ancient city, reminding us of its pivotal role in shaping human history. Eridu, the city of Enki, holds a special place in human history. As one of the earliest cities, it laid the foundation for the growth of urban centers, trade, and religious practices that shape the world as we know it today. Though its ruins may be silent, Eridu's legacy continues to resonate throughout history. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the ancient world of Sumeria. If you want to learn more about the fascinating history of Sumer and other early civilizations, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future episodes. Please leave any comments of what you want to see next.